Hello everyone. For the longest time, I've wanted to own a fountain pen. There were so many to choose from, but it was easier for me to decide which one because the kind that I like is a flexible nib where I can create thick and thin lines. At that time, the only flexible nib fountain pen the store has was the Noodler's Ahab. I bought it at a retail price of around 30 Singapore dollars, which is around 23 USD. The Noodler's Ahab has a simple aesthetic. The body is a bit thick, but the grip is good. According to Goulet.com, the solid black Ahab is made of a celluloid derivative and is biodegradable. I found that it is a vegetable derivative which makes the pen strong. The Ahab has a screw cap type. It has a flexible steel No. 6 nib. You can also easily replace the nib if you prefer a non-flexible or calligraphy style nib. When you unscrew again, you can see the ink reservoir and a slide piston mechanism. And as you can see, I have run out of ink. I started using the fountain pen on the 24th of October 2020. My second refill of ink was on the 17th of January 2021. The ink can last quite long depending on how often you draw and what kind of illustration you create. If you sketch often and do a lot of shading, then the ink may run out faster. I bought the Noodler's bulletproof black ink. It uses a special cellulose reactive dye that makes them permanent yet gentle on pens. It is a water-based ink, which means the dye needs to dissolve into the water so that the ink can flow freely. However, making the ink bulletproof means it is resistant to water, bleach, solvents, UV radiation. It is also fade resistant and archival. The ink costs around 16 SGD, which is around 12 USD. The bottle holds around 85 ml of ink. Some of the inks that you can use for fountain pens are dye-based inks like Noodler's bulletproof ink or pigment-based ink like platinum carbon ink. However, you cannot use calligraphy ink like SUMI ink, India ink, because they're thick and can clog the nib. Dip the whole nib into the ink. Push the piston down, then pull up to draw the ink into the pen. You may need to do this 2 to 3 times for the ink to fill them. This is usually a mess-free process, but you may need to wipe the nib after if there's any leftover ink. I am drawing some thick and thin lines. Like calligraphy, my upstrokes are thin and my downstrokes are thick. I press down gently to create my downstrokes. Let's test how fast the ink dries. On the first paper, I use a 200 GSM watercolor paper. And you can see that the ink smudges because it stays on the surface longer. Whereas when I use a copy paper, the paper absorbs the ink. I noted the number of seconds to determine the drying time of the ink on each of the paper. also try to apply some water and give a little scrub on the ink, and you can see how it smudges and gives a light wash. If you're going for that effect, then that's okay. If not, I need to wait a little while before I can paint without the ink smudging. My top 3 reasons for preferring a fountain pen as a drawing tool is the ability to create thick and thin lines with a flexible nib. I don't need to buy different pen sizes. The second is that I prefer to use one quality pen that I can refill with ink, which made it sustainable. The third is that I like the smooth feel of the fountain pen against the paper that makes drawing so much more enjoyable. I also like to store my fountain pen in an upright position to prevent any blockage. I hope you enjoy my personal experience of using the Noodler's Ahab fountain pen. Do you own a fountain pen? Which ones are your favorite? I would like to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching.